I've never been introduced that way before. We've woken up together on many mornings.
Professionally.
Professionally, yes. Now, I move around a lot and I move my hands a lot, so I'm going to try to keep this mic right here, but I'm a very animated human being, right? A long time ago, I saw an ad in a newspaper, and the ad read very clearly, it said right on the top, it said, $5,000 a month, guaranteed, no experience necessary, no college degree required, must be good with people. And I read this ad and I thought, that's me. That's me. This is probably the first thing in my life I've ever been qualified for, right? And it was an ad to join the automotive industry. Now you see, at that time in my life, I was roughly 21 years old. And though I was a pretty intelligent guy, book smart per se, though I was a pretty intelligent guy, I did a lot of stupid things, right? I did a lot of stupid things. Like, for example, my mom, she had this 1995 Ford Escort, and so she let me take her car, and I thought, well, 95 Ford Escort, this thing's got to be able to move. So I'm racing over the top of Cedar Hills, this big hill in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I'm racing over the top of Cedar Hill and doing like 110 miles an hour in this Ford Escort. And as I go right over the top of the hill, I see a cop going by in the other direction, right? And immediately he flashes his lights on, and I'm flying down the hill, and I'm smart, right? So I start calculating in my head, by the time he turns around, I'm going 110 miles an hour, I get away from this guy, right? So I gun it. And I step on the gas, and I'm flying, I get down to the bottom of the hill, and I'm like, I turn a quick right, and then I go to the next one, I'm like, I turn a quick left, and I hit the next one, turn a quick right, and I'm going like weaving through this neighborhood, and then I come up to a stop sign, I'm like, don't want to run the stop sign, right? Don't want to run a stop sign. And as I stop at the stop sign, Chris, who'd been screaming in the passenger seat this entire time as I'm going, he looks at me and he's like, now you stop! Like, what the hell are you thinking? Go, right? So I'm like, all right, go. So I step on the gas and I'm continuing to think, how can I get out of this situation? And as I'm going, I'm thinking, okay, if I can just hit the main road where there's all the intersections, where there's all kinds of people, if I can just get on that main road and make it down to the pool hall, the local pool hall, then I can get away from these police officers, right? I told you I was stupid back then, right? I was an idiot. So I get out to the main street, I step on the gas, I gun it, I'm like, I'm a mile and a half away, and as I'm cruising down the road, I'm flying, and I can see over there in the distance, I see Greenlaw Garden Apartments where I grew up, and I'm just thinking, my mom's like sleeping right there in that apartment complex, and I'm thinking she's gonna kill me, right? So as I go back, I look at the apartments, I look back this way, and all of a sudden there's cop cars everywhere. So I come to a stop, there's 8 police cars, they completely surround me. I come to a stop, I'm looking, there's lights, there's sirens, everything. They got the rifles out, rifles are pointing at me, I mean everything, right? I'm sitting here in the car, I'm like, oh, what did I do, you know? And so they're screaming at me, and they're like, all the bullhorns, they're like, get up, get your hands up, get your hands up, get your hands up. And so, hands up in the air. And the next thing he says, open the door. And I'm like, how am I supposed to open the door if I got my hands in the air, right? And the cop's like, open the dang door, get on the ground, put your hands behind your head. So I get out of the car and I like climb down on the ground and I got my hands up here, behind my back. And as soon as I put my hands on my head like this, next thing I know, like cops start kneeing me and elbowing me and they're slamming me into the ground or slamming my face. It's like Lundy kids chasing the last, chocolate chip cookie in our house. So they're just all over me. And then this guy yanks me up and yanks me back up to my feet and I can see his face. It's all red. He's exasperated. It's the cop that had been chasing me the whole time. And he says, sir, are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol? And I'm like, no, sir. He says, do you have illegal weapons in the vehicle? I said, no, sir. He said, did you just commit a crime? Are you fleeing the scene of a crime right now? I said, well, as far as just committed a crime, it kind of depends on whether you give me a ticket right now or not, right? He didn't think it was very funny. So then the cop says, listen, man, if you're not on drugs and you don't have unlicensed vehicles in the car and you're not fleeing the scene of a crime, then why the hell are you running from me? And I looked at him and I said, well, to be honest with you, sir, my mom told me the only way I could borrow the car is if I kept my license with me, and I forgot to bring my wallet. So I didn't have my license with me, so I thought I would run. So this guy's eyes light up, right? His eyes light up. He smacks my head up against the back of the car. You know how they're supposed to say, watch your head? He didn't say, watch my head. He's like, throws me in the back seat, and he goes, you're a freaking idiot. And at the time, he was right, wasn't he? He was absolutely right. Well, that same idiot sold 1,000 cars in Paris, Kentucky this past March. Paris, Kentucky, population 9,600 people. I sold 1,000 cars in 27 business days. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Glenn Lundy, and I am a husband to one, that one, and I am a father to 7, and I am the former general manager at Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky, the second largest used car franchise dealership in America. I am also the host of the wildly popular show, #Rise and Grind. I am an author, I am a huge fan of God, and at times I am an absolute idiot. Now, so you're probably thinking, okay, well, why did Liza bring this idiot here to talk to us? And I want to tell you, I'm here for 3 reasons. I'm here to motivate, I'm here to educate, and I'm here to inspire. And I've only got about 15 minutes left to do so. But I'm here to motivate, educate, and inspire. And see, from what I understand, Liza explained to me that you guys are all top performers. Is that correct?
Woo! Sir.
Yeah? Yeah? Oh, you guys are all top performers. Is that correct? So as top performers, it means you hit all your metrics, you did all your things, you went in day out, day in, you were responsible, you were disciplined, did everything that you had to do. But something that I also know about top performers is if you were a top performer, then every single day for 2018, you had to deal with some idiots. Am I right? Idiots that we maybe are our coworkers, idiots that are maybe some of our employees, idiots, aka some of us call them customers, right? We've all had to deal with some idiots. Idiots like me. And I know sometimes you ask yourself, you're like, why don't they think like me? Why won't they just do it the way that I do it? I know what I'm doing. They just need to listen to me. And you ask yourself that all the time because you're a top performer, right? And that's why as top performers, we think everybody should think like us. Everybody should act like us. Everybody should do what we do. And if they did it the way we did it, the world would be a better place, right? We all think that way. And so I'm here to tell you today that the reason people can't think like you or act like you or do what you do is because, you see, you are this unique being, right? Completely unique being. And nobody can do what you do the way that you do it. Nobody. If everybody were to do the things the way that you did things, then you wouldn't be a top performer, would you? You'd be average. You'd be just like everybody else. But nobody in this room was built to be average. You guys were all built by the God of the universe. He made you uniquely to be the absolute best versions of yourself that you can possibly be. And so you guys are already killing it, right? You're killing it in sales. We're killing it in service. We're killing it in all these different departments. And what you guys are doing by killing it in your individual positions the way that you do it, what you guys are doing is you're making a massive impact on your stores. You're making a massive impact on your city and on your communities. You're making a massive impact on the state of Virginia. And my guess is the Carter Myers Automotive Group absolutely loves you for it. Am I right? I believe they absolutely love you for it. And if nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely love you guys as well. You guys inspire me to do more. You inspire me you inspire me to do so much, watching you guys grow and watching you guys thrive. It's such an incredible company that you guys work for. So we're feeling a little bit more motivated now, right? Maybe a little bit. We got a little bit of motivation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got the motivation starting to go up a little bit. So I told you I was here to motivate, I was here to educate, and here to inspire, right? So we got a little bit of motivation going. I guess we got to get to the education part, right? We got to learn something. We're going to learn something here today. If I can remember, I got to do it without my notes, Matt.
Well, you want to borrow my phone?
I might need it. Okay, so we're going to learn something today. And hold on. I'm sorry. I want to make sure that I get this right for you guys because it's super, super important. My gosh, baby.
It's your baby over here.
I just spaced it.
Her sweet dress. This is his number 7.
Beautiful. This is number 7. Okay, sorry. I want to make sure that we hit every single one of these notes. Okay, in 2011, I sold 2,300 cars. for our dealership. We sold 2,300 cars. In 2012, we sold 3,300 cars. In 2014, we sold 4,300 cars. In 2014, we sold just over 6,000 cars. As a matter of fact, we sold our 6,000th car on my wife's birthday, December 26th of 2014. In 2015, we sold 7,500 cars. In 2016, we sold 9,556 cars for the year. Our goal was actually 10,000 that year. We came up a little bit short. It actually took me 54 weeks to hit 10,000 instead of 52. Now, I don't tell you these things to brag about the dealership that I worked with, the dealership that I ran. I tell you these things because every single time we broke through another milestone, every single time we broke a record, every single time we reached levels that we had never reached before, every single time somebody would come into my office and they would say, "Hey, Glenn, so that's the top, right? There's nothing more that you can do, man. You guys you sold 6,000, dude. There's no way you can sell any more than that. It's impossible." Every single time somebody would say that to me, and every single time I'd look them in the eye and I'd say, "Get that out of my office. Get out. No negativity allowed in here. I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to hear it. Your limiting beliefs and your limiting values, do not impress those on me, please." So they would always apologize. "Oh, I'm sorry, Glenn. You know, I don't mean that. I'm just curious. How can you continue to get to the next level?" And I would tell these guys every single time, like, "Look, okay, so we grew a little bit and we added some more land. We grew a little bit and we added some more buildings. We grew a little bit and we added some more staff. Each time we grew, we added different things. But really what happened and what made the biggest, most tremendous difference in the way that we were able to leap 25 and 30% year after year is our people would grow as well. It didn't matter what buildings or land or inventory. If our people weren't growing, the dealership wasn't growing. And what ended up happening, it was really interesting, is as we continued to grow and train and figure out our processes, figure out our branding better, as we would continue to do all of those things, individual people within the company would start to become better leaders. They would start to lead others. And what I want to teach you today is the definition of lead. If you don't already know it, lead is very, very simple. Lead stands for listen, encourage, advise, and develop. And you have to do it daily. Listen, encourage, advise, and develop. When you're dealing with your coworkers, I want you to listen to them, encourage them, advise them, and develop them. Do it every day. When you're working with your employees, I want you to listen to them, encourage them, advise them, and develop them. And do it daily. When you're working with customers, I want you to listen to them, encourage them, advise them, and develop them. And do it daily. And when you do these things, what ends up happening is some of these idiots that you used to work with, and some of these idiots that used to work for you, and some of these idiots that you called customers, idiots like me, they start to become top performers. They start to become top performers. Now, my man Lou Holtz, anybody ever heard of Lou Holtz? Okay, he's the winningest coach in football history. Lou Holtz said something great. They were asking him about all his different championships that he won. And Lou Holtz said, "You know, it's been great and it's been fun, but I can tell you something. It's much easier to win a championship with great players than it is with bad players." Much easier, right? And so what ends up happening as you lead, you listen, encourage, advise, and develop the people around you, you start working with a team of top performers, and it just gets easier to win. Much easier to win. All right, so we talked about motivating, we talked about educating. Anybody learn anything just now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. We're learning a little bit. Okay, we got educated, we got it. So what's left?
Inspire.
Yeah, see, you take good notes, man. I love it. Matt takes good notes. So now we got to inspire. So here's my guess. You guys being top performers, my guess is that you're probably doing pretty well, right? You're doing okay. You're paying your bills. You're doing okay with your finances. You're probably doing okay in your relationships. You're smashing some records. You guys are putting up some good numbers, right? 200. What was the record? 200. How many cars? 272 cars. That's awesome, right?
Glenn, 0.5.
0.5. 272.5. It's like my kids, right? How old are you? But my guess is, being top performers, that you guys are probably doing pretty well in a lot of different areas of your life. But I'm here to tell you today that science and my man David Goggins, if you haven't read his book yet, you need to listen to it. But science and my man David Goggins has basically proven that we pretty much hit the stop button at about 40% of what we're capable of. 40%. Now I know as top performers, you guys are like, I ain't 40% on nothing, but I'm here to tell you, we can all look at each other, we can all say that we give 100% every single day, that we get to do 100% of what we're supposed to do every single day. We can look at each other and say that, but if we actually take a real deep dive inventory, if we actually take a look at ourselves, are we giving it our all 100% every single day? I don't know. I think we maybe spend a little time on Facebook. Anybody spend time on Facebook today? I know I was on there today, right? We probably spend a little time maybe watching Netflix, watching some of our shows. Maybe we spend some time in some conversations that we know we shouldn't be having with people we know we shouldn't be having them with, right? I know that our time is not necessarily 100% put into building our empire every minute of every single day. And see, the reason for that is simple. When you first got into your positions, you were excited about it, you were learning, you were like, okay, I gotta do something more. So you were giving it 100%, and then you started to get good. You started to get really good at it, and once you started to get really good at it, then it started to get easier. And once it started to get easier, then you're like, okay, well, I'm kind of comfortable with this, right? I know I can go in, I can sell a car, I know I can go in, I can sell a service contract. I just know I can do that. I don't have to work so hard at it anymore. And we end up giving about 40%. Now, what I want you to do for a second is I want you to just imagine what your life would look like with 60% more. What if you had 60% more sales? Generated 60% more dollars? What if you turned 60% more hours? What would that do to your bottom line if you had 60% more? I think everybody in this room wants 60% more of just about everything in their life except for maybe weight, right? I don't think anybody wants to weigh 60% more, unless you're in like sumo wrestling or something, right?
I already achieved that.
But for the most part, 60% more of just about everything would make our lives a lot better, wouldn't it? So I want you to just imagine what that looks like. Now, with that said, 60% more, and that thought, just think about, I've got 60% more money, 60% more revenue, 60% more sales, my vacations are 60% better, I get 60% more of just 60% more of everything. I want you to envision that, and then I'm going to ask you a quick question real quick. I need to know, do you believe that you could do more? If so, raise your hand. All right. So everybody in here believes they could do more. Good. Liza. Question for you. I need you to come up here real fast. I have a question for you. And you've had a lot of success in your life, right? Your family's done really well in the automotive industry, obviously. You've made a massive impact in all of these people's lives. You've made an impact on your city, on your state, like made an impact on me. You've done all of these incredible things with your life.
I do 60%.
Well, I just have one question for you. Do you believe you could do more?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so everybody in this room thinks they can do more.
Yes.
And Liza, you believe that you can do more, right?
Absolutely.
You believe that you can do more. So here's what I want to do. We're going to talk about that word. What's that? Nope, you're going to stay right here. Yeah, I know you want to go over there, but you're not allowed to go over there. So here's what we're going to do real quick. I want everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up. Kind of scoot in a little bit so I can see everybody. I want to get everybody in here together a little bit. We're scooting. Everybody. This is good, right? This is good. Okay, so you guys believe that you can do more, and Liza, you believe that you can do more. So here's what we're going to do. Well, I want you guys to repeat after me, okay? You're going to repeat after me. Liza, I want you to like focus, connect, make eye contact. I want all of you guys to stare at Liza. Okay? Everybody stare at Liza. Don't even look at me, just stare at Liza. Okay? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to repeat after me, okay? So I want you to say, I state your name.
I state your name.
Liza.
It's always Matt.
Liza.
There's always a lot of people.
This is supposed to be your top performers.
I know, they can't even.
Okay? Top performers. Okay. When I say state your name, I need you to state your name. Okay? All right? You guys with me? Everybody with me? Okay. We're going to go. I state your name.
Simona Holloway.
Beautiful. Do take thee, Liza. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm also an ordained minister. That's another thing that I do, so sometimes I get it confused. This is a little different, right? This is different, so I apologize for that. Okay, but you guys were doing great. You guys were following right along. This is awesome. Objections in the back of the room. Okay, all right. We're going to do this for real this time. Okay, we're going to do this for real. You guys are with me? Everybody's laser focused now, right? We're good? Yes. We're good. Okay, you guys, eyes on Liza. Okay, eyes on Liza. Liza, you're just going to look out at all your people over here. Okay? And I want you to repeat after me. So now, I state your name. Promise to do more. More today. More tomorrow. And more in the future. I promise to lead. I promise to produce. And I promise to tap into that 60%. And when we do, we will win. Beautiful. Give yourself a round of applause. Stay standing. Liza, I want you to look them in the eyes. You guys all stare at Liza. I want you to repeat after me. I, Liza.
I, Liza,
Promise.
to do more.
Today.
Tomorrow, and in the future.
I promise to lead more.
I promise to lead more.
I promise to produce more.
I promise to produce more. And I promise to tap into that 60%. And together, we will win.
Now, with that agreement, I believe that if everyone in this room will keep their promise in 2019, you guys will take Carter Myers Automotive to levels that have never, ever even been imagined before. Amen. I truly believe that. And you can all get that 60% more. And with that, I hope that you are all inspired. Yes.